Alaikum. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad. Ashhadu anna Muhammad. Hayya alal falah.
Alaikum.
Alaikum As-Salaamu wa rahmatullah.
That is our tradition here at Masjid al-Muslim here in Memphis. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a little break from this Talmud service in order to make Salat to the door, and after that we'll come back with the Talmud service. Inshallah. Our committee.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala-salat. Hayya ala-salat.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allah. 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 Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. As-Salaamu Alaikum wa rahmatullah. As-Salaamu Alaikum wa rahmatullah. As-Salaamu Alaikum. Let's get the Qurans now. Let's get our Qurans. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi azza wa jalla. It is to say with the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. All the praise is due to Allah, the guardian of all the cherishes, the sustainer of all the world, all the systems of knowledge. We seek his aid and we ask for his forgiveness. Mighty and sublime is he. Brothers and sisters, I greet all of you with the greetings of peace and paradise. As-Salaamu, Alaikum. You know, this time is going to be a continuation of the Friday's cook-off for Jummah, where we were talking about crowds. But before we get into the Holy Quran, I'm sure that everybody in here, maybe some of you youngsters now, have had some types of experiences with crowds, whether they were good or bad. We had some experiences with crowds. So would anybody like to just tell us about some of the experiences they had with crowds, whether good or bad? Anybody? As-Salaamu Alaikum. I should have known it would have been.
Well, so As-Salaamu Alaikum. Well, there's no point in just sitting here. You know, you remember the song that I'm in with the in crowd?
Right.
And I go where the in crowd goes? It ain't always good to go where the in crowd goes. But, you know, you have you're talking about some of the young people here in high school. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Jeremiah this other day about not following those who you don't need to follow.
Certain crowd.
And right. And I was just telling them, I said, your friends may not necessarily be your friends. I said, they may say that they are, but they might not necessarily be your friend. And you can't just do what they do just to be a part of the crowd. And this is what I was just explaining to him. So you have to be an independent thinker, try to encourage him to think independently, to try to make good choices. And, and I said that you're going to find sometimes that you just can't do it. So they want to make him a assistant manager. I said, you're going to be in a position where there are going to be people who are going to try to sway you to do things that you shouldn't do as assistant manager. You can't be with the crowd and be of the crowd and be independent of the crowd. You can't do that. And I'm explaining to him using that terminology about trying to be with the crowd, want to be with the crowd. I was at the doctor's office last week and he was telling me, he said his daughter is 11 years old and she has to be with the crowd. We were just having, it's just interesting that this is your topic, but it was just interesting that was his conversation, that she feels like she has to do what everybody does and she has to wear all the makeup and the eyelashes and the false. He said he was just having issues with his 11-year-old because his older daughter is in her 20s, 21, and he said she was never into that. But this one, he said the difference in the time when she's growing up and the older one is a clear example of how people feel like more so now with our young people. And you all please be aware that you can't just do everything everybody do just to be part of the crowd. Right. Because there are consequences to the choices that the crowd makes. And you may be the one that they point out and say you were the ringleader and you may not have been.
Sometimes when you get in, you get in with the crowd, like she was saying, you don't get, you're not an independent thinker anymore. Sometimes you got to move where the crowd takes you. See, you got to move where the crowd takes you. Somebody give me an example of that. Yes, ma'am.
My crowd is on a different level from when we were on Hodge.
Same crowd I
you
had
have to go. If you don't go with the motion of that crowd going around the Kaaba, you're gonna be in trouble. You can go backwards if you want to, but that would be on you. But that's my thinking.
Alhamdulillah, that's the same crowd I had in mind for the example. The very same crowd. See? Because there's so many of them, you get in there and no matter where you want to go, you got to go where the crowd is going, or else there's going to be consequences. Anybody else? Anybody else had no experiences with crowds?
Alaikum.
What ain't my son?
There's an old expression, two is company, three is a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times we think multitudes, but there can be a crowd with just a few. And especially if you're pulling in different directions. So that's my thought. As-Salaamu.
Alhamdulillah. Did you have your hand up on me?
Yes, actually, the brother took it right out of my mouth.
Okay.
But along with that, that's a crowd that sometimes you may not be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think in terms of that that he mentioned also as being a crowd.
Okay.
Because they say no two people think alike the same, at the same time, but then it could be. But someone amongst the three could not have the same
Mm-hmm.
intentions, and then which reminds me of even when we are together, we are advised to appoint one amongst us as the leader of that crowd, of those three or more people. You appoint one as the leader, and then you follow the leader so long as he's following the right direction.
See, because you have to know that we have good crowds and what? They're bad crowds. Good crowds and bad crowds. Anybody else? Before I give mine.
Wait a minute. Let me give you this example, this crowd on high. We were told what we were supposed to do, and when you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're in the wrong side of the mountain. So much you lost. So, there were more than one crowd. So everybody on high. One crowd went one way because they had different agendas. The majority of the crowd went the other way because there's more than one crowd.
Right.
So the crowd that decided to go wherever they decided to go, they end up lost.
Okay, for myself, let's look at this. When I was in college, I went to a college that was down in the heart of South Memphis. And where did I come from? The heart of North Memphis. And there's going to be like a rivalry there. It's going to be like the two bodies of water that come together, but they don't ever mix. That's the way it was with the crowds down there at this college. After a dance one Friday night, the South Memphis crowd and the North Memphis crowd was out there selling wolf tickets, if you know what wolf tickets are. Going back and forth about what you gonna do and what you ain't gonna do. And at the same time, one of the brothers from South Memphis was easing up behind me with a knife to stab me. But some of the brothers from North Memphis were brothers that were from Binghamton. And if you knew about the brothers from Binghamton back then in the 60s, they were not to be messed with. And as he was coming up behind me with the knife to stab me, brother from Binghamton came up behind him and put a pistol to his head. Now, that was two bad crowds, am I right? But look at it like this. With those two bad crowds coming together, it could have been something worse if the brother with the pistol hadn't been there. I would have got stabbed. It would have been something worse if the brother with the pistol had fired the pistol. Huh? It would have been some dire consequences there, am I right? And believe it or not, after it was all over with and we left college and whatever thing, this brother, I know Cicero probably know. We used to meet up, at what you call it, the Hippodrome. And all of that bad, blood and quail have been put to rest. There's good crowds and there's bad crowds. But which crowd do you want to be running with? Now we say in the Quran, we talked about two crowds on Friday. One was Azuma and the other was Afwaj. Azuma, it means a multitude. It means a large number. Okay? And these words also, both of them, when you research them through what have you, they mean groups and they mean other words. But the thing of it is, Allah has shown us how He can take one word, but with the circumstances that that word or the context that that word is used in, it means something different. But it always goes back to the basic meaning. Let us turn to the Holy Quran, Surah 39. In Ayah, we're going to read Ayah 71 through 75. Are we there? What that movie said, are we there yet?
Say it again.
39, reading 70 through 75. And this will be the only time that this word here is used in the Quran. Just two times used in the Quran. Anybody ready? 39, 71 through 75. And if you read this, you'll see there's a whole lot of footnotes in there. And these footnotes, believe it or not, brother, are going to give you a better understanding of what these ayahs are talking about. So is anybody? So now if you want this to be Talim, I want you to teach me as well as I try to teach you. I want you to teach me too.
As-Salaamu.
What are they going
Alaikum,
to
As-Salaamu.
The unbelievers will be led to hell in crowds, until when they arrive there, its gates will be opened and its keepers will say, did not messengers come to you from among yourselves, rehearsing to you the signs of your wrath, and warning you of the meaning of this day of yours? The answer will be true, but the decree of punishment has been proved true against the unbelievers. To them will be
Let's stop
said.
right there. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Okay. Now, it said, we're going to read the Arabic right quick. وَذِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ زُمَارًا. You see the Zumar? How is it translated? Translated as crowds. Now let's go to the Ayah 43, 47.
Commentary. You talking about commentary?
Yeah, the footnote. Commentary, footnote.
Footnote.
Get the mic. Get the mic.
Footnote. You read the footnote?
Yeah.
The footnote says crowds. This is the word which gives the keynote to the surah. If the soul does not stand to its own convictions or search out the truth by itself, it will be classed with the crowds that go to perdition.
Now, have we already talked about that? As one of the crowds that you may become associated with? So, brother, you better be careful back there. I thought you had your hand up. Huh? So when we read the ayah, what is it talking about? What's the first word in there? What's the first word in it? Now, I ain't talking about the Arabic now, just the first word in that ayah.
Unbelievers.
the unbelievers. It's talking about the unbelievers.
Yeah.
Those people who want to go where?
Yeah, and cry.
They're going to hell. This is talking about the crowd. What kind of crowd is he talking about? Come on now. Is it a good crowd or a bad crowd? Bad crowd. The bad crowd. Alhamdulillah. So let's keep reading. Go ahead, Shazam.
To them, that's in parentheses, will be said, enter ye the gates of hell to dwell therein, and evil is this abode of the arrogant.
Tell me something about that. Yeah. Tell me something about that. Yeah. What it says, you're going to dwell therein, and it's going to be what? An evil abode. It ain't going to be nothing happy and joyful about this dwelling place. Huh? But what's going to be there? Is it going to be one person there, or is it going to be crowds? The Holy Quran, Allah said, crowds. They're going to go to hell in crowds. Let's keep reading.
Okay, so the commentary says, as elsewhere, the root of evil is pointed out to be in self-love and arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk about the typical, those who enter the gates of hell, just somebody who's just doing wrong could be themselves.
Right.
All right, 73. And those who fear their Lord will be led to the garden in crowds, until behold, they arrive there, and gates will be his gates will be opened, and his keepers will say, peace be upon you. Well have ye done. Enter ye here to dwell therein.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me somebody.
As-Salaamu.
Excuse me.
This is speaking of the other crowd, right? That
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
We're talking about who now?
pledge.
The word not for
I
crowd.
mean,
The word is still Zuma.
oh,
It's still Zuma. Let me see. Wait. وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقْوَى وَرَبِّهِمْ إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ زُمَرًا.
It's a good.
We're talking about Zuma, but it's talking about what? A good crowd. Because this crowd is going where? What you say? This crowd is going to Jannah. You see, talking to Jannah. In the 10th form, excuse me. Come up in my foot. In the 10th form of this word is Istaj Ramah. Istaj Marah. The 10th form of the verb of Zuma is talking about people who have a tendency, or people who come to a point of embarrassment as to where their soul is taken what? Down, if it's talking about the unbelievers. But at the same time, if it's talking about the believers, it has a tendency to raise their souls what? Say that again, young man. Y'all hear what he said? He said to heaven. He said to heaven. Okay. Let's go to Holy Quran 74 and 30. 74 and 30. We're going to be jumping through here now, but it's going to all come back to what we're trying to get.
74 and 30.
Yeah.
You sure?
Huh?
You said 74 and 30?
74 and 30. Now, he was talking in the other one about the keepers. Am I right? The keepers of the gates to hell and the keepers of the what? The gates to heaven. There you go. That's right. My man gonna take me through this thing. He gonna take me. Somebody read that right quick. Obed 19. Okay, go back up to 27 so we can see what Obed is all about.
Go look at the commentary.
No, but let's go back up there so we know what y'all talking all about. 27.
And what will explain to thee what hellfire is?
Now, okay, now go. You talking about hellfire. Now go to the footnote, to the Charmaine. That's 57, 93.
93.
That's the
The
footnote.
figure 19 refers to angels appointed to guard hell. Verse 31 below in the corresponding notes. So, Obed are 19 angels.
19 angels over the hellfire. You know, I don't know, but I would say it like this. Subconsciously, we wouldn't think that angels would be over what? The hellfire. Subconsciously now.
Right.
Subconsciously. We just don't associate angels with hell. All right? But you see what Allah says here in the Quran.
But when you look at it,
Huh?
so the angel said on your left and on your right,
Right.
record your good and your bad. So you got recorders.
Right. I think
So somebody.
we're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover that. Anybody else? And what was that? Let me get back to that. Okay, let's read 74. Oh yeah, 74. We still talking about crowds now. Yeah. That's 39.
Huh?
Going back to 39. I told you, we're gonna be going through there with different ayahs, different verses and everything, but it's all gonna come back to the crowd when we're trying to establish it.
They will say, praise be to Allah, who has truly fulfilled his promise to us. They will say, praise be to Allah, who has truly fulfilled his promise to us, and has given us this land in heritage.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think they have inherited? Come on, y'all. What's these ayahs talking about?
Paradise.
Right.
Say it again, young man.
Paradise.
Say it again, young man. What did they inherit? Paradise. Heaven, ain't it? Am I right? They've inherited paradise. For what? Being a believer. Being with the right crowd.
Be with the right crowd.
Just that simple. Being with the right crowd. And like I said, this word, the root for this word, Zumar, is only used in the Quran twice, according to my research. Only used twice. Now let's go to the Holy Quran, and we will. 72 and 19. Down to 2 and 19. We there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody read it in English.
When the devotees of Allah stands forth to invoke him, they just make round him a dense crowd.
A dense crowd. A dense crowd. Are you looking for that word Zuma? It ain't there. In the last sentence, it says, Yakunu alayhi libadan. What do you think that word libadan means? Come on, look at the paper. Look at the book. What do you think that word means?
Crowd.
It says, and they made around him a dense crowd. A dense crowd. Does that make you, it's okay. Let's read, I'm gonna read it in English. And when the devotee, the servant of Allah, stand forth to invoke him, to call on him, who is that? Who do you think that they is?
The non-believers.
Come on,
The
man.
companion.
No, he right.
No.
He right. The what do you call it? The pagan Arab who didn't want to believe in him and wanted to make mockery of the people who did call upon him. And they make round him. Who is him?
Prophet Muhammad.
Prophet Muhammad. A dense crowd.
Okay, so I was
So
thinking.
what comes to mind now? A dense crowd had formed around him. A dense crowd had formed around Prophet Muhammad because the servants are calling on him. But they don't believe.
So why
Yeah.
is it a crowd?
So what kind of crowd do you think is he?
The bad
Read the
crowd.
footnote. He said a bad crowd. He said a bad, come on. That man needs to be up here. He said a bad crowd. Now read the footnote. The footnote is what? 5744. 5744. See if you don't see that word crowd in that footnote. See if you don't see that word crowd in the footnote. I mean mob in the footnote. Talking about a mob. And that word is the bad value. And it's only used in the Quran one time. Anybody find the footnote yet? We see that word in there? Talking about a mob? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I said yes.
There's something interesting in this footnote.
Go ahead.
In the footnote it says they used to surround him and mob him and treat him
As if he were guilty of some dreadful crime.
Hallelujah.
Said, but the wider application refers to the habit of the world to make a marked man of any who diverges from the beaten path of their favorite sin.
See, you see how these footnotes help you out?
Right.
They help you out. You know? They help you out. But then too, little brother, you keep doing that now. But then too, you know, we have to be wary about some of these footnotes and tafsirs that we run across. You know, I know y'all, many of you remember him, Yasser Carter. He did a whole lot of footballs on YouTube. And he was saying that, listen to what he was saying. He was saying that during those times when these scholars were translating the Quran and whatever, they didn't live under the same circumstances that we live under. And their tafsir was geared toward their circumstances. You know, Brother Luke Monk, y'all remember Big Luke? He was a teacher at a prison down in Mississippi. And he told me, he said, One day he went down there for the class and what have you, and said the brothers were in there arguing about what do you do with the water when the dog falls in the well. Now that could have been their circumstance.
Right.
Because if you dig a well now, you put a pipe in the ground, no water in there. With a spigot on it. Now can a dog fall in there?
Nope.
Huh? But our circumstances will lead us to the principle of it all.
Right.
Huh? What do you, I say it like this, and I don't want to be, I'm not gonna call it a name, but I got a cousin. I don't want you to know what gender it is or anything. They eat out the same plate with the dog. Can you see?
Right.
There's different circumstances. That, you know, we can't put the same as the dog falling in the well in this day and time. Any question?
If the dog fall in the well, the dog is supposed to be drinking wherever the dog feels.
Right.
With the cup of water.
Yeah. I'm doing right. We got to be careful. Okay, let's go to 70. And we're going to read 36 to 37.
What I got?
70, 36 to 37.
Now, what is the matter with the unbelievers that they rush madly before thee from the right and from the left in crowd?
From the right rather than from the left. In crowd. They're rushing madly. They say they're rushing madly. Rushing madly. It says here. And me, wa anni, she man, land. In the land. What word do you think that is for crowd there? It ain't Numa. It ain't Lebanon. What is it? What is it?
That sounds like a phone.
Huh? That's the last word in there yet.
Yeah, we were saying,
You
that
seen
sound
it.
like a phone.
You seen it. You seen it. Yeah. That what is the matter with the unbeliever? That they rush madly. What crowd have we seen rushing madly lately? They show it on TV all the time.
Just about everything.
I can't hear you. Come on y'all rushing madly.
Number 45.
I can hear you.
Number 45.
Number 45.
We can't say no name.
No. Just say it like this. The people that rush the Capitol.
Okay,
Yeah, that's some
okay.
people, that's the same
They
thing.
rushed madly. I mean, they were mad.
That's the same thing.
Now, we're going to tie this stuff together here now. This word here means to join together to defend one another. To join together to defend one another. So let's go to ayat 17. Let me see if it says, yeah, 17 and 104. 17, go back to 17
Hey, yeah, 104.
and 104.
104.
Still talking about these crowds.
Surah 13 or Surah 104?
Huh?
You said, Surah 104?
17 and 104.
104
And ayat 104. Are we there yet?
Yes, sir.
Are we there yet?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody
I
read.
have a reader here, so I'm like,
And we said, thereafter to the children of Israel, dwell securely in the land, a promise, but when the second of the warnings came to pass, we gather you together in a mingle crowd.
Mingle.
Mingle crowd.
Mingle crowd. Mingle crowd.
Mingle crowd.
It ain't Zuma. It ain't Lebanon. It ain't Zan. What do you think it is?
Lafifen.
Huh?
Lafifen.
Defense. Yeah.
Lafifen.
That's it. Defense.
Defense.
Defense. That word means that they came together for more than one purpose and more than one time. Let me find what I want you to read. We don't hop again. Go back to 17, 4 and 5. 17, 4 and 5. We're gonna start 17, 4 and 5. And we're gonna see how this mingled crowd got together and why they got together. Somebody read.
And we gave clear warning to the children of Israel in the book that twice would they do mischief on the earth and be elated with mighty arrogance, and twice would they be punished.
Okay, now. Yusuf Ali has said in his commentary that this twice could just be a figure of speech, because we know if we study the history that they have been warned and punished more than once, several times, a lot of times. Okay? But it says here, the second warning. Should you want to know what the first warning was? It's just the second warning. Now, when they say second warning, it don't mean in that sequence. Amen. This is because he said they've been warned and punished many a time. But the first warning, we'll find that in the Holy Bible. Jeremiah 7:3, where it says, this is the warning. Amend your ways and your doing, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. What is this place? What is this place? What were they promised? No. It could be paradise, but we call it something else. The promised land, am I right? That he will allow them to cause them to dwell in the promised land. But because they did not repent of their sins and what have you, the consequence, one of the consequences for failing to repent was the destruction of Jerusalem. And it was destroyed in the year AD 70. Now, all of this is in the footnotes too. All of this is in the footnotes. So that's the first warning. That they're going to do mischief in the land and be elated, be happy with mighty arrogance, with mighty pride and self-importance. You think that's talking about back then?
Today.
It's talking about right now. How many got a TV at home? Raise your hand if you got a TV at home. Don't you see it? Huh? That was the first warning. (17 and 7). 17 and 7. Let's read, somebody read footnote 2178. Talking about the second warning. Now let's read the ayat. Let's read it in English. Just read it in English. The whole ayat. It's going to talk about the second warning and the second what? Consequence.
If ye did well, ye did well for yourself. If ye did evil, ye did it against yourself. So when the second of warnings came to pass, we permitted your enemies to disfigure your faces and to enter your temple as they had entered it before, and to visit with destruction, and they fell into their God.
Alhamdulillah. Now you can read footnote 21 and 78. It's going to explain that.
The second thing was due to the rejection of the message of Jesus.
Stop. What did it say? The second what?
Doom.
Will do the what?
Reject the message.
Revelation.
Did they reject it? Don't they still reject it? Keep reading, young sister.
To disfigure your face means to destroy any credit or power you may have got. The face shows the personality.
Alhamdulillah. What do we teach the face represent and the wudu?
The character,
Character.
the character.
Character, personality, all right?
Isn't that word wedge for things?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
yeah, for faith, character, personality, huh? He said he's gonna disfigure their face, am I right? If you got TV, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you got TV. Huh? I mean, I don't wanna use that word. I don't wanna use that word. What word? Isn't that satanic? Don't you see some satanic activities going on? Huh?
Yeah.
You see it. You see, you know, we say that this book, this Quran is not a history book, but what does it do? Give us a whole lot of history. And so what do you mean? History and prophecy. History and prophecy. You look at the history and you see the prophecy being fulfilled. Huh? Now, that's good. Let's talk about the mingling crowd. It means a crowd that comes together to protect one another, protect each other. I say it like that. Israel was warned on several occasions, brothers and sisters, but they did not heed the warning. And they were put into exile. Am I right? And that was the history, the story tells us. They talk about this mingled crowd. It said they came together in a mingled crowd. So they came together as a group that rejected Jesus. Okay? And their punishment was, brothers and sisters, that after they formed that crowd, that association and whatever, even though they did that, they never had a Jewish nationality until when? 1948. See, this book doesn't say that, but it says that they never had one. But this book was translated by Yusuf in what year? 1936. But he said they never had a Jewish nationality until now. Until now. Now, we're going to go to this Afwaj. Okay? The root of this word is found in the Quran 5 times. 5 times. And, okay, let's do it like this. What time is time we get? Let's do it like this. 78 and 18. 78 and 18. We there yet? Huh?
Yes.
The man said we there. Now if he's there, everybody should be there. Somebody read it. Somebody read it.
Got it right.
I mean, hold on. Get the mic.
The day that the trumpet shall be sounded, and ye shall come forth in crowds.
Okay? Okay. Y'all man, Yunfaku, feel Sauli, Mekta, Tuna, Afwaja. Now you got Afwaja. You got Afwaja. What do we say Afwaja mean? We standing on Friday. Anybody remember? If you read up, you find out that it's talking about the day of sorting out. So what's the day of sorting out? Judgment Day. Talking about Judgment Day. Now, what did we say on Friday that this Afwaja? What one of the meanings of Afwaja? Y'all excuse me. Crowds. But what kind of crowd? Huh? Special crowd. That's a good crowd. Special crowd. It says it's a crowd that follows what? A leader. Crowds that follow a leader. Okay, just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Now, let's go to. No, I'm not reading over because I got to go to work. Y'all gonna be going home. We're going to Ayat 110.
Ayat 110.
Uh-huh.
Same surah.
What surah?
Same surah.
I mean, Surah 110. Surah 110. Excuse me. He said that that's wedge, I mean, crowd that follow leader. Keep that in mind. And when you read it throughout the Quran in different surahs and ayats and what have you, look at the context in which it's used. Look at the context in which it's used. We there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, this is the way this surah goes. Either Zuzulatif, no, that's Rahman. Either Nasrullahi wal Fath. What did that say?
When it comes to help from Allah.
Then when comes the help of the victory of Allah. What's it talking about in that ayat? What's it talking about in that ayat? You ain't got no footnotes on that ayat now, sir.
He's been successful in their quest.
Who?
The believer.
The believer. Successful in their quest to what? Spread Islam. Huh? And he came back to Mecca and he said there was not going to be any revenge. Am I right? So what did it say next? What? Afwaj.
Right.
And what does Afwaj mean?
Special crowd.
Crowds that do what?
Have a leader, a special crowd.
Follow a leader. Now, what leader are they following? What leader do they want to follow? Like coming to Islam. Prophet Muhammad. That's why it's a special crowd. Not just any crowd, but a special crowd, and what have you. Now, I'm gonna tell you what you else you can find this word in the Holy Quran. 3 other times. In 78 and 18, it means following the leader. In 110, it means following the leader. In 38 and 59, it's talking about troops. Okay? But you have to read the context that is using. It's talking about military strategies and whatever. In 67 and 8, it's talking about group. And we said that a crowd can be a large group. 27 and 83 is talking about troops again. That's what it's talking about. And these are the words that I happen to have been blessed by Allah to find in the Quran that relate to crowds, multitudes, and large numbers. Are there any questions? Talk to me. Are there any questions?
No.
No problem.
All right. Any announcements before we close out? Yes, ma'am.
As-Salaamu, I want to remind everybody that starting November the 1st to November the 30th, we will hold our coat drive here at the Masters. So we are taking new and slightly used coats for any to be for any believer who needs a coat can take a coat. So, please remember that, inshallah. Ratification, you can vote today. The following each consecutive Friday, Sunday, you're able to vote for ratification of Imam Wali Shaheed. The final voting will be November the 3rd, inshallah. We're still taking nominations for names for the board of directors. We need 4 individuals, a minimum of 4 individuals to be nominated for the board of directors. Oh, there is following tally, there is a Courage Cupcakes and Sparkling Cider for those who have been cancer survivors in the boardroom across the hall. Inshallah, it needs a following tally.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this, and again, I need to go with,
Topic. You know, it says it's better to be alone than to be in company, and to be in company of bad people.
Alhamdulillah.
Then it said it's better to be in the company of good people than to be alone.
Alhamdulillah. Everybody hear that?
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
Better close out. Run in.
For those of you all who do not recall, one of the Imam's favorite charities was Sister Graham Muhammad School, and it still is. So those of you all who know that we here at Master Muslim, we support the Graham Muhammad Schools, the existing full-time Graham Muhammad Schools throughout the United States and also in Bermuda. We ask that right now we have 12 members of this masjid donating on a regular basis. But we have over 100 members of this masjid. We're just asking, whatever you can give, please donate to Graham Muhammad School. The last day of the month, then it goes for that next month, okay? So if you donate, the last Sunday that you're here, or the last Friday that you're here, those donations will go to support the Graham Muhammad Schools for that following month. So
That's only one issue now, the brother needs to make one. Allow who
As-Salaamu Alaikum. I believe Brother Yusuf said it very clearly on after Juma. Pantry is in need of food. And all of you all who made an obligation to donate to the pantry on Ramadan of 2024, would you please fulfill your obligation. 2025 Ramadan is upcoming, and we will be pleading again for your donations, for your gifts. Please, brothers and sisters, let's keep our pantry alive, because our neighbors continue to come, and we want to be able to serve them. That's all.
Sometimes we hear and we take the attitude that they're always asking for money. They want money for this, they want money for that, they want money for this.